All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Titans Return Legends Class Wheelie. A very cool little figure here. Still one of my favorite versions of Wheelie. I just absolutely adore his little, space car mode here. I think it looks just like super, super wonderful. The shapes are there, how it's got that slope that goes all the way back. It rolls pretty nicely. He does have kind of like translucent wheels here just because they're on the same like tooling as the little like cockpit section here. But, I feel like that still kind of fits with the, like space vibes. Yeah, being a Titans Return Legends class figure, he of course does have the gimmick of being able to seat a Titan Master like all the other ones do. For him, basically, you just open up the little cockpit here, and you also kind of have to open up this back section too. And then you can take a little Titan Master here, and they'll just seat in there. And then you can just close it back up. And yeah, for him, it actually works because, like I said, like with Beachcomber, like he actually does turn into a smaller vehicle, like a fictional smaller vehicle, but a smaller vehicle nonetheless. And it's kind of funny too, because it's like when you actually look at it front, like can the person in the cockpit actually see anything? I don't know. I feel like that angle is so steep that you probably wouldn't be able to, but whatever. It's a campy little space car. But yeah, that works pretty well. It does kind of result in like the issue that most people have with this figure is that like he's a little bit easy to kind of like separate and like misjoint in vehicle mode. Like he's not super super solid. I feel like if you just know where to hold him, like it's really not that big of an issue. Like he doesn't like have any parts that don't stay tabbed in. It's just like they're not too difficult to pull out of place, but like it's really not that bad. Like if you're not like actively like squeezing the figure, like it's kind of fine. It doesn't really happen at least on my copy, it doesn't really happen unless like I'm intentionally trying to make it happen. Like it stays connected just fine on its own. So I don't know. I've never really had that issue with this guy. I feel like he works just fine, but that was something a lot of people complained about him at the time. In terms of comparisons in this mode, just for the standard one, here he is with Kingdom Sideswipe, so you can see what he looks like with an average size deluxe car. Obviously, being a fictional little space vehicle, Wheelie can scale with these guys kind of however. He's just supposed to be like a little guy, basically. But yeah, that works well enough for me. And then here he is with a couple other versions of Wheelie, with the G1 Wheelie and then the Studio Series Wheelie, who granted on mine has a couple like 3D printed and third-party bits to kind of make him a little bit better, so his hands aren't sticking out the back and it rounds out the front a little bit more. So he looks a little bit better than he did out of the box, but still, I feel like even comparing him with the kind of upgraded version of Studio Series, this guy's vehicle mode just looks way better in my opinion. Like it actually has that nice like rounded curvature that doesn't feel like it's kind of like broken up by a lot of like blocky sections. Yeah, definitely just I feel like looks a lot more kind of smooth and elegant compared to the Studio Series version. And you can see in terms of color scheme, this guy really was going for more of like a G1 toy thing where he's got that, kind of like two sections of different oranges thing going on versus the kind of like more cartoon accurate kind of like salmony orange and darker orange thing that the show and the movie had. So they're all fine, I think, but this one is still definitely my favorite of the vehicle modes there. But yeah, that's what he looks like with them. To get onto transformation, he's got a couple neat tricks going on. Basically, you just want to open up the like little cockpit section here, and then you can take these side panels and just untab them and rotate them forward to be the arms here. Then you want to take this entire lower section and just rotate it around 180 degrees, split the front, and then rotate them down like this. This will kind of like automatically unfold the little knee pads there. And then you take this fender section with the wheel and rotate it to the back of the leg until it clicks. It's a very nice, satisfying click too, which is nice to see. And then you basically take the whole body here, you kind of fold this section back down and then collapse this whole thing in until it clicks into place, and then you can tab in the windscreen there into this section, and then take his head and flip it around to the front here, and there we have Wheelie in his robot mode. And yeah, I really like this robot mode. He's definitely not quite as show accurate as the Studio Series one, obviously, but still, as a fun little iteration of Wheelie, I feel like he works pretty well. Nice little head sculpt there. Definitely, again, not exactly accurate to how he was in the show or the movie, because he had the like sort of, under section of his helmet too. 2, but still, it's a pretty nice little head sculpt. In terms of articulation, the head is just on a swivel, and I guess it is also on this panel where you can kind of rotate it up a little bit to have him look up like slightly before it starts looking kind of silly, but whatever. The shoulders are on ball joints, which can rotate around, go out about that far, and they get a little bit of, back and forth movement. He's got ball joints at the elbows, which give him a thigh swivel, bicep swivel, and about 90 degrees of bend at the elbow there. He's got a waist swivel for transformation, though it does kind of bump into things at a certain point. And it's also on a little bit of an angle, so it does kind of kind of adjust the way his torso is angled, but whatever. And then he's got ball joints at the hips that go forward about that far, back about that far, and out to the side. Ball joints at the knees, which give him a thigh swivel, and a little over 90 degrees of bend there. And then nothing really at the feet. They're kind of sculpted in a very, very slight A-stance thing, but because you have the ball joints here, you can kind of adjust the angle of the lower legs anyway, so he doesn't have too hard of a time staying flat-footed. Now, he doesn't come with any weapons or anything. He does have 5mm ports on the hands, which kind of annoyingly stick out the other side, so you can see the holes on the vehicle mode. But it would have been nice if he came with a slingshot or something, but a lot of the, Titans Returns Legends class figures didn't really come with weapons. Weirdly, also worth pointing out, and I think that they did actually utilize this on maybe like the Legends version, but he's got this like section right here, which feels like it's like clearly supposed to have an Autobot logo on it, and then that's kind of where the Autobot logo sits over top of it on the the windscreen. So it sort of feels like maybe at some point they're planning to just put the Autobot logo there and not on the windscreen, so you'd be able to see it through the chest plate, which would have been kind of cool. But whatever. That would have been nice. It's just always like a weird bit of sculpting that I've noticed, because it's like it just like really looks like it's the shape of an Autobot logo that just doesn't have an Autobot logo on it. But it would have been weird if he had two, especially for the vehicle mode. So I don't know. It's not really a problem. It's just something that I've noticed. But yeah, in terms of comparisons in this mode, here he is again with Sideswipe, and then also with Rat Trap, so you can see what he looks like with an average deluxe and core class figure. And it's worth showing these guys off just to show, he's pretty much the size of an average core class figure. So remember that when we show him off with the Studio Series 1, and then, with the Titan Master 2, just for fun. And then here he is with the other two versions of Wheelie. So yes, remember, average core class figure. He's a little bit smaller, so he's a tiny core class, but, and his stupid windscreen fell down. But, I like all three of them. I mean, this guy's robot mode is garbage, but, it's kind of it's a fun little G1 toy. But, you can see definitely, not really going for a G1 toy aesthetic, because what would, really, for a new Wheelie figure? Still going for that cartoon look just with the G1 toy colors, but still, I think, in terms of accuracy to the show, the Studio Series 1 definitely wins in terms of robot mode. This guy's an adequate little robot. It's just, not as accurate to the show, whereas I feel like he's got a much better alt mode, and this guy's alt mode is it's okay, even with upgrades, is still just kind of okay. But yeah, you can see that's what the two of them look like together. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to him. I really like this figure. I think he's a lot of fun. I think that he's probably a better overall figure than the Studio Series 1, just, including how the alt mode looks and, how fun the transformation is and all that. But in terms of G1 accuracy and robot mode, the Studio Series 1 definitely, I think, wins out. But yeah, no, still a fun little figure and definitely cool to mess around with. But yeah, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Transformers Titans Return Wheelie.